We've got the Texans versus the Jags. We will hit that game second. First, we're going to hit the Colts and the Titans. So the only two people I want to hear from on this one are going to be Rossi and Derek. Rossi, we're going to start with you. I know, I understand you're a little disappointed with fans not showing up, what have you, but you are at home. Maybe you've galvanized the troops, so to speak, and it will be a little bit more full this week. Either way, you guys are playing the Colts that are 2-0. This would be a major upset. And even though you're disappointed, I know that this would be a win that could get you right back in the thick of things. So talk to me about this game. Give me a little bit of a preview. How do you have it going down, and what is your score prediction, Rossi?
As far as a game goes, I mean, he's running the offense efficiently. He's making great plays. You can't knock him, at least for the first two games. Now, will that continue? That remains to be seen. And I do think the Titans can make this a close game, because defensively, they've not been terrible going into like halftime. Like defensively, they've been pretty good. It's just a matter of sustaining that 4 quarters. And can the Tennessee Titans move the football on the Colts offense? And right now, I just don't think the Titans are there offensively. I think it's going to take 6 or 8 games before, in my right mind, I don't think the Titans are going to win this ball game. I think they're going to fall to 0-3. And, if you fall to 0-3 in the National Football League, you're pretty much done for the season. There's only been 6 teams in NFL history that have, made the playoffs after going 0-3. And the last one to do that was the Houston Texans, I think in 2018 or 19. I don't know how many have had a winning record after going 0-3 or whatever. But that's just the playoff that made the teams that made the playoffs. But I just don't think the Titans have what it takes right now. And I think they'll play them close, but I think the Colts are going to pull this game out. And I think they're going to go to 3-0, and we're going to hear Derek rant and rave all week next week. And so we're going to have to hear that another week until they lose. But, hey, I got to give the Colts this one, and I'm going to say the Colts, we'll give it I'm going to say the Colts 27, the Titans 17. I think the Titans, kind of keep it close out through the third quarter, and then Jonathan Taylor is going to be too much for him. The defense will start wearing down. Daniel Jones makes a few plays. Hey, Tyler Warren looks great out there. You know what I mean?
Does.
Michael Pittman looks great out there. The Colts have some weapons. The Colts have a roster that looks pretty good right now. I don't know how good they really, really are. It remains to be seen, but hey, as of right now, they're looking pretty good. So Colts get the win.
All right, Derek, you heard it. Titans are going to lose from the Titans content creator. So listen, he thinks you're starting 3-0. I don't know if that's the case and you start 3-0. I'm curious to know when that first loss comes, and the rest of the division better catch up quick because things can get out of hand. So Colts are 2-0. I know Dalton thinks they're not making the playoffs, but I got to imagine you think that they're going to beat an 0-2 in-division opponent in the Titans, just like Rossi does. Talk to us about this game, man. How do you see it going down? What's your score prediction?
Yeah, week 4 against the Rams is when it's really going to get interesting for the Indianapolis Colts on whether or not they can handle that. I do believe that the Indianapolis Colts will be able to handle the Tennessee Titans in Nashville. The Colts have had, a great record against the Tennessee Titans over the last 12 freaking years, regardless of where we play them. So doesn't really matter that it's going to be in Nashville. I know a ton of Colts fans that are going to that game. So, you're going to see, Rossi, if you do go to that game, you're going to see a lot of Colts fans there. Callahan, and whether or not he's going to even survive the season, that's already the rumblings I've seen. And so if you're having an issue like that against a defense that has gotten after, has created a bunch of turnovers so far. Again, Cameron Bynum, our safety, tied for first in the NFL in interceptions through the first couple weeks. This is a new, different defense that hopefully is getting Charvarius Ward and Laiatu Latu back this week. We didn't have them for Denver, but we're going to probably have them for Tennessee this week. And then obviously, Tennessee Titans, their offense or their defense will probably present some challenges. Again, the Colts are going to have to, be able to stop whatever blitz packages that they're going to fix up, because I know that they're going to bring pressure after Daniel Jones, because that's what everybody tries to do. Just ultimately, as the best thing about all the numbers, everything that the Colts have put up through the first couple weeks, 0 turnovers through the first 2 weeks of the season. And that needs to continue to stay that way if this Colts offense wants to continue to put up the numbers that they have. So as long as the Colts aren't turning the ball over, and I don't even care about the whole punting thing, the Colts are going to move the ball. They have the offensive pieces to do it. As long as they're not turning the ball over, I think we'll have this one. I think it'll be a somewhat lower scoring game here. I'll go Colts 24, Tennessee 16.
It is impressive that they were able to beat the Broncos without Ward and Latu. That's two very
corners
important players on the defense.
This last week, man. Xavier Howard was trash. They targeted him all game. And Mekhi Blackman, who's been on the roster for literally 3 weeks, had to start in that game too. So we had 2 guys starting at corner on outside that have literally been on the team for less than a month, having to go up against that Denver offense.
Not ideal. Well, it looks like we've got 2-0 Colts sweep. Let's get into the matchup of the weekend for the division, though. This is so important for both these teams. The Texans especially, they cannot start 0-3, especially if the Colts are going to start 3-0. A 3-game makeup with only 14 to go. That I don't care. I don't care how good the Texans are supposed to be. That is going to be nearly impossible to make up down the stretch of this season. So that being said, the question is do they start 0-3? And we're going to start with Dalton first. The Jags themselves cannot fall to 1-2. So very important game for both of these teams. Dalton, talk to me about this game, man. You guys are at home. It's a 1 p.m. game. You probably feel like you should be 2-0 at this point. You've got an extremely good running game right now. And things are cooking a little bit for this team. Nonetheless, they are 1-1, whether they got robbed or what have you. And this is a big game in division. So what happens in this one? The Texans usually have kind of come in and owned things with the Jags. So is this game going to be different, brother? Talk to me about this one. Give me your score prediction.
Yeah, this is definitely a scary game. I mean, whenever the Texans need a get-right game, it usually comes pretty well when it comes to coming to Jacksonville and getting that. But we're not playing the same Texans team that comes in with a lot of confidence, right? I mean, usually they come in and there's a couple things going wrong, but they can kind of iron it out and get going good. But it's just a different type of team that I'm looking at with the Texans. I never seen CJ Stroud look so flustered. And I watched the whole entire game last night. Like, the O-line is bad, but at the same time, like, I think CJ Stroud takes every snap kind of fearful that even if there is a clean pocket, that maybe the offensive line will not hold up. And his footwork kind of becomes a mess, and he misses throws. It's kind of crazy. And the Jaguars do have a really good pass rush. I mean, Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker on the edge, and then you have Eric Armstead coming up the middle. And the Jaguars also have some really good blitz packages. So you're facing a team that actually has a pretty good pass defense. I'm really worried about just the Texans defense, just because they are a bunch of dogs. I mean, those guys, it's an insane defense. It really is. I think the thing that may hurt the Texans is that, we've seen it over time, probably most recently maybe with like the Jets. I mean, even the Jaguars back in the day, like, you can have a really, really good defense, but if the offense isn't doing very well, like, over time, that defense starts to lose the edge to really be great. And they start to, I wouldn't say give up, but it's like, it's not as special as it once was. And you can see that maybe slowly happening with the Texans, is because Texans had no business losing that game last night. I mean, with the opportunities that the Texans offense gave them, with the block punts and the punt return, and it was kind of crazy. But man, I have a feeling this is going to be a really, really hard game to watch, because it's going to be physical. It's going to be a grinding game. It's going to be really tough. I had to go with my Jags, though. Do I have a lot of confidence in this one? Not really, to be honest with you. I think this one could really go either way. And obviously the Texans are hungry, but I think the Jaguars are hungry too. That was a tough loss last week. I don't think we're going into this game with the same mindset of, of Derek with the Colts with, they can beat anybody they play against. The Jaguars are going against a team that's going to be hungry. That I don't think the Texans are a bad team. They played a couple of good opponents. It's going to be tough. Got to respect the opponents, but I'll say the Jaguars win. I'll just go with 17-16, even though I'm not super confident in that.
All right, he's got the Jags winning. Ruben, it's always a tough pill to swallow when you've got your defense on the field, up 6. You're playing a team that has both of their offensive tackles out. You've got great pass rushers like you guys do, and Anderson and Daniil Hunter, great cornerback tandem as well. And you just give it up. Baker Mayfield does Baker Mayfield things, absolutely balls, and they go on and win that game. And an absolute heartbreaker, a game that you should have won at home. And now you're 0-2 playing a division foe. Now, this has been a get-right game for you in the past, as Dalton talked about, but Dalton does have the Jaguars winning. Talk to me about this game. What is the score? How do you see this thing going down?
Yeah, Dalton, right? Every time the Texans play at Jacksonville, I don't think they've lost in Jacksonville in the past 7 years. It's kind of when, they are on a decline, but it is the get-right game. Just 2 years ago, the Texans were 0-2. They go into Jacksonville, and that was the first sign we got to see of quarterback C.J. Stroud. The defense is going to have to win the game for the Houston Texans. I have little confidence in this offense being able to sustain drives. We have 2 great edge rushers in Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson Jr. Both of them had 2 sacks last week. The Texans defense had an opportunity to seal it. They didn't. I don't expect the Texans defense to, have back-to-back games where, they're just getting beat. I will say, though, I do respect the Jacksonville's ground game. The Texans, 106 yards against the Bucs. That's going to be something to monitor. The Brian Thomas Jr. versus Derek Stingley LSU battle is going to be fun to watch, but do want to put some hits on Brian Thomas Jr. Doesn't look like he's able to, to handle the NFL speed right now. But it's going to come down to the offense, boys. If this offense is able to sustain drive, if they're able to put up points, they could win this game. You go 0-3, your season might be over. I have the Texans winning this one. 14 to 12, 10, 11. It's going to be a close and ugly game.
Ooh, low scoring. Absolutely love it. Well, there you go. We've got 2-0 Colts beating the Titans, and we've got a split between the Jags and the Texans, 2 in-division games. This is what it's all about.